Alright guys, welcome back. Redmissed in the house once again. How you doing? How are you doing? We're doing great. Or I'm doing great. I hope you're doing great. How you guys doing? We're losing our King of the Rings almost all the time. Really getting on my nerves. Every time we seem to energize, we're losing. And it's really starting to bug me. So, yeah. Can't really see us doing too well in this King of the Ring. But this is the very first King of the Ring that I've actually come across that has got a bot in it, ladies and gentlemen. I believe it's only one bot, but we do have a bot. So, that's looking up. Hopefully, once we've got this Andre the Giant, and yes, we are doing really well in the RTG. Right now, as of recording, it is 2 minutes past 12 Friday afternoon. So we have done really great. We have been using title matches, but that's all we've done. We haven't used any bouts. So I will admit I was slightly wrong on the calculations, because the 75 title matches used to get me, I believe it was 70 points into the base WrestleMania card. Whereas now, I've only got one title match left. So it's only going to get to 10 points of the WrestleMania card for the 75 title matches. So with the looks of it, they've added, I would say, if you can 10 point all the way, then obviously you're talking, 25 10-point games for Andre the Giant, and I would have another 20 10-point games there. So that's an extra 45 games. So I was thereabouts right when I turned around and said that they've added about 50 games to the overall. By adding that 50 games, they've pretty much doubled the points on the very end by a lot. So I turned around and said that they've added about 150 points to the RTG, but I think it's more like they've added 250 points to the RTG. I thought with the way that the games have been downgraded slightly, they hadn't added that many, but they genuinely have. But I'm at the top of the title hole, or the pick barrier, so I'm going to go ahead and play an exhibition game, because I'm still doing the same thing. Because my RTG team is not in WrestleMania tier, I am purposely coming out of the game after I've played the game and I've got my picks. Rather than taking my picks, I've closed down the game and logged back in. By doing that, I've still kept my 6 or 7 picks, whether I've got a perfect game or whatever, and then I've gone and played another game, and I've pretty much done that until I've gone and built up my we're trying to level up Goldust. He's almost there, guys, and then we're going to have to work on Undertaker and get him fully leveled up. I'm hoping that I will be into the WrestleMania tier as soon as I've pro'd Goldust. I'm hoping, because then I won't come out of the RTG. I will just pick from the RTG board unless I'm not in WrestleMania tier. So, the main reason why I'm doing that is because obviously if I'm picking on a WrestleMania board, I might get them WrestleMania cards. And it also ups the chances of getting anything else. So as you can see down the bottom, I've got 43 picks remaining. The maximum amount of picks you can hold is 50. So, guys, don't try to go past the 50. The only way you can go past 50 is if you play an exhibition game. Once you've reached 50 games, and you play an exhibition game, and then you watch the videos. The videos are the only way to get past those 50 picks, guys. So you could always play the play the game to get the 50 picks, and then watch a video and you'd get 52. And then exactly the same. So if you go out and you play another exhibition game, oh cool, an ultra rare, and play another exhibition game, you'll still be on 52, but if you watch the video, you'll go up to 54. So you can always do that if you want more picks. Don't really see the point of it though. So yeah, obviously I'm doing this because I want to hopefully get a WrestleMania pool. It's not really been working out too well, but I have been getting a lot of really good pulls by doing this. I think that that ultra rare card is about my 6th ultra rare card. I've pulled 3 epic cards. I've pulled quite a few super rare cards. I've managed to pull 1 legendary card. So I'm hoping that obviously pulling them cards, we are getting very close. The amount of epic enchantments I've pulled, guys, is unbelievable. You know, it really is crazy. Off of that board, just playing yesterday, I swear to you, I was virtually out of enchantments, and other than the Survivor enchantment and the Legend enchantments, we're talking, I had 1 charisma and 1 power, and I also had 1 speed, 1 toughness. So off of that board just yesterday, I've pulled 2 epic powers, an epic toughness. I had 1 ultra rare charisma, so I've pulled 2 charismas. I've pulled 2 ultra rare toughnesses. All of these survivors, all of these super rares, they've all been pulled off of the board from doing it how I've been doing it, and all of these rares have also been picked off of the board while I've been doing it. Obviously the rares aren't that great, the enchantments aren't huge, but when it comes to WrestleMania tier, guys, and to be honest, even when it comes to the top end of Survivor tiers, when you're playing them games and you're getting like into the semi-finals and stuff, and you want to push and try and get that double Survivor, or if you're in WrestleMania tier, I tend to put them on and hopefully get through past the semi-finals, but it's not been working. But yeah, guys, obviously they do help. You know, I'm not a huge fan of them, and I will admit that I'm not a huge fan of the enchantments, but at the same time, if you play tactics and you play well, the enchantments can help a lot, because quite a lot of people have a tendency of 2-statting cards. So if you've also 2-statted cards, then you've gone and put ultra rare power on, say, The Rock or Ric Flair, for example. If you've gone and put like an ultra rare power on him and an ultra rare charisma on him, then the likelihood that you're going to beat The Rock or beat another Ric Flair, something like that, is quite high. So they do help because they give that little bit of bonus stats. So if somebody's obviously tweaked it very different to you, then sometimes it can really help you out. Obviously, if you've decided to go, instead of doing 3 power, you've only done 2 power, that ultra rare power up is the same as putting 3 power, so you might tie with someone. So, you know, obviously it's up to you guys if you use them or not. 9 times out of 10 I use them for training, but anything over a super rare or higher I will tend to save for the King of the Rings. If I have a feeling that I've got a good chance of getting through and winning, I will put them on, and sort of try and guarantee that win. Which, to be honest, quite a lot of the time it has actually worked. There has been quite a few games that I have genuinely won because I've put those enchantments on. So, you know, it's just a little thing, you know, that I like to use sometimes. I know a lot of people hate them. I did hate them at the start. They've kind of grown on me slightly, but then at the same time, I wouldn't be sad to see them go for Series 3. When Series 3 comes out, I would prefer, personally, if they brought back the power-up system of level 1, of Season 1, where you just had the toughness and, like, the power, toughness and thing boosts. But I would prefer them to not let them be a board reset. I think they would be a lot better if they were just a standard card that you could pull from the board, but it wouldn't reset your board. Or not so much reset your board, because it was handy that it resetted your board, but I think more along the lines of kind of what am I trying to say? Kind of off of the principle of, like, say, a title match. When you're in an event, they'll reset the board, yes, but not so often that you're not really getting two good cards. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think it would be really cool as well if in Season 3, if they kind of do... I played the NBA, my NBA 2K16, for a little while. I also played the NHL one. But there was a couple of things that I saw in the... Obviously, I would love the trading like a trade post or a auction house, some way of doing that. And I just went and picked my cards there, didn't I? So that's not cool. I didn't mean to go picking cards there. But we are going to go buy some more title matches, because we're going to need them. Because the matches are starting to get a little bit harder, guys. There's no way I'm going to 10-point all the way through. So buying another 75, I'm pretty sure I'm going to need them, because I'm going to be on 3-point matches by... To be honest, I reckon by the end of Roman Reigns, I'm going to have to grind out 3-point matches. So, yeah. But anyway, that was a little bit of a deterrent. I'm going to continue to grind out on this. I would love to see them to bring in, like, a trading post or a way of trading cards, transferring cards somehow. You know, that would be absolutely amazing if they done that. And I'm sure everybody wants to see that by now. Because it's not, you know, obviously for some people, it's not a huge thing, but for me, I would happily trade, right now, I would happily trade a base WrestleMania card for a couple of Survivor Divas, you know, just because of the fact of my divas are lacking so much. You know, you could always be a bit cheeky and turn around and say, oh, well, look, I've got this Heath Slater here from the event that's just gone. All you people that have got Heath Slater, guess what? If you give me 2 Survivor Divas, you can have it. And to be honest, there would be a lot of people that would do that. You know, a lot of people would do that. The only thing I think that shouldn't be able to be traded, I think if they bring in that thing, I think that they should not let event cards be traded. The reason I say this is because a lot of people will grind out the event card, even if they can't get a pro. They will grind that card out, and then they would put it up at a ridiculous price. So, for example, Andre the Giant, right now, I've got the first Andre the Giant. If I didn't get the Andre the Giant from the RTG, I could quite easily go to the trade post and turn around and say, right, well, I've got Andre the Giant Pro here, or base here. If you need him, then you can give me, I don't know, 5 WrestleMania cards. And the thing is, there's people out there that will do it because of the fact, or obviously not right now, because people don't have WrestleMania cards, but there will be people out there that will go and purposely trade and right off the bat go and get, like, 5 Andre the Giants and just spam King of the Rings with like 5 event Andre the Giants. So I think that would be a bit dumb. So I really hope if they do bring the trade market in, they don't let the event pros or the event cards be traded. I think it would be cool if they actually do what NBA 2K16 have done on that basis and make certain cards non-tradable, which in my opinion would be like your event cards. The same as, I don't know if any of you have played it, but I did play Star Wars Collection, I think it was called, which was a really fun game, very similar to this. Obviously you kind of got you unlocked your cards and then you created a team and you went and battled with your team. And on that game you unlocked freebie cards, the same as you do on this game. But the freebie cards that you unlocked, because they were a reward from the game for reaching certain milestones or whatever, they become non-tradable. And the thing that I thought was quite good with that is if you, for example, if that was in this game and Andre the Giant, for example, was that card that was non-tradable, if you then went and bought a pack and you happen to get another card of the same, so for example 2 Darth Vaders, or in SuperCard reference 2 Andre the Giants, if you combined a non-tradable card with a tradable card, that card would then become non-tradable, which I think was really good. It was a nice little touch, because it basically meant that if you wasn't going to keep that card and you wasn't going to use that card, you wouldn't want to combine it with something, because once games kind of have a trade post or an auction house, you're always sort of thinking, well, what can I get for this card? Is this card of value? Is this card not of value? So it's kind of something that would be interesting to see. Also, just because it would help a lot of lower level people out, you know, it would really help a lot of lower level people out. I'm just going to pick off the board here, guys. Hopefully we're not going to jeopardize our WrestleMania pool by doing this. But it's just because I want to sort of get in and have another battle. So, for example, such as me right now, I have no need for legendary pros or anything like that, and I didn't for a very long time, but I had so many pros just because I couldn't get the Survivor pros to replace my RTG team. Whereas if I started seeing, like, say, lower level people that have managed to get some, like, of the freebie Survivor pool, or got lucky and got a couple of survivors, or they've grinded out the event and again got survivors, WrestleManias, whatever, what have you, you would start seeing people put them up on the trade post. So, for example, there's a few times that I've kind of thought, well, I would happily give away, like, say, 2 legendary pros to be able to get, like, a base survivor that I needed, you know, that would make me a survivor pro. Because I now no longer need those legendary pro cards. So even now, I'm starting to get into the point now that I'm going to have survivor pros that I don't need, you know. So I would quite happily go to a trade post and turn around and say, alright, well, you've got, say, Nikki Bella base there that you've got for trade. Well, how about I offer you, say, this pro Kofi Kingston or this pro whoever survivor card for your base diva card. The only thing with a trading post, the only downside I can find to obviously a trading post is it is going to make King of the Rings so much harder, because everyone's going to have good cards. If you're in a Survivor King of the Ring, you can guarantee that people are going to have Survivor cards, whereas before people are waiting on those pros. So, like, such as me right now, I've still only got 2 Survivor Divas. You know, if there was a trade post, I wouldn't. If there was a trade post, I would have 4 Survivor Pro Divas. It's as simple as that. Because the cards that I could have got, the cards that I can get rid of, I would have definitely been able to get base Survivors and make pros. So obviously that's the only thing that's going to change with King of the Rings and stuff like that, if they do happen to bring a trading post in Season 3. But I just think it would be a really good addition, especially if they lock down cards as well, then make certain cards untradeable, because people might just spam them. You know, like, for example, when I was in, I think it was Epic tier, I was able to sort of get up into Legendary, and that first Legendary card that I got, I might have been able to sort of trade out and get rid of stuff for. You know, like, obviously I saw it in Star Wars as well. When certain cards first come out, they was extremely overpriced, and people went crazy buying them because they wanted them, but then their value dropped so quickly, it was ridiculous. But that's also part of a trading post, you know. If you want the cards early on, you pay for the cards early on. You know, if you're willing to wait for a little while, then the price drops. But that would be quite cool, because also it would, like, for me right now, a lot of cards that I don't need, like obviously the lower end tier cards, like Sheamus, Bray Wyatt, not Bray Wyatt, King Barrett, and stuff like that. Like, obviously the cards that I'm not going to use that much because I've got the better cards, you can always put them up on the trade post and maybe put, like, say, 2 or 3 of your base bad Survivors to possibly get a single good one. Because there's going to be a lot of people out there, you know, like at the very beginning of the Survivor tier, you know, I think I had The Undertaker, I had Shawn Michaels, I had Naomi and stuff like that. I had some really good cards at the very beginning of my Survivor tier, and then I had to wait forever before I started getting pros and stuff. But there's people out there that would have already had that Shawn Michaels, so I could have quite easily gone and turned around and said, right, well, I'll give you this Shawn Michaels, but I want that Undertaker, you know, because it's pretty much a fair trade. But then there might be other people out there that will turn around and say, well, yeah, I've got this Undertaker here, but my team is really lacking in RTGs, so instead of trying to push for a Survivor Pro, how about I get rid of this Undertaker for like 2 Legendary Pros, you know, because it'll improve their RTG team. So some people, like, for example, my nephew, when the glitch happened a little while ago with Shawn Michaels, he's now got a Survivor Pro Shawn Michaels, but in his RTG team, he's only got, like, I think it's 4 Legendaries. There's about 4 Epic Pros, and then the rest are Legendary bases. You know, if there was a trade post, he could always trade that Pro'd Shawn Michaels for, say, 3 or 4 Legendary cards. You know, yes, it's going to affect the basis of he's just lost a Survivor Pro, but it's going to vastly improve his team, because he'll then have, like, say, a full team for King of the Rings. He'll have, like, say, 4 extra cards for RTGs. He'll have more cards for ring dominations. So it would really improve the what's the word? Like the challenge of the game. It would make the game a lot harder because there'd be a hell of a lot more people up at the top end of the game because of the way that you would bring yourself up to the top of the game, you know. And once obviously you start getting those cards you need, you can start looking at trading out your lower cards. So it would be a case of, at the very beginning, you'd give up your good cards to be able to get some fairly okay cards to bring you up. But then once you've started moving past that stage and moving up into the higher class, you could start looking at moving off your lower cards to maybe give you a couple of bases of the good cards. So once you've done a couple of RTGs, done a few ring dominations, so on and so forth, you could then possibly look at start maybe saying, well, how about I give you 2 legendary pros for that base survivor, you know? And there will be people that would take the offers because it will improve their team. So it's kind of like one of them things of, it's a trade post, you've got to haggle, you've got to barter, you've got to try and push, and somebody will eventually accept your offer and you will start moving up the ranks again, and they will move up the ranks because obviously they've accepted your deal because it's a good deal for them. But then because they're cards that you now no longer need, it's a great deal for you, you know. So obviously there's a lot to be had when it comes to a trade post. Whether they bring it or not, I don't know, but I think it's about time. You know, it's obviously been 2 years nearly. They're going to be looking at Season 3 before long. If they don't bring it in Season 3, I strongly think that it's going to affect the game. Because I don't really think too many people are going to want to go from like ultra rare to legendary to survivor to eventually WrestleMania again, grinding out like crazy like they did in Season 1, like we have in Season 2. So I think if there was that sort of trade post where it was possible to get those cards a little bit quicker, I think it would help out a lot more. But that's just my opinion, guys. I'm sorry to rant on so much and babble on about stuff and blah blah blah, but I really hope that you've enjoyed the video. Please go ham on the like, subscribe and share button for me, and hopefully you've enjoyed my rambling on about utter nonsense and whatever. But as you can see, we're still able to do 10 point a game, so hopefully we're going to make it to at least 100 points in Roman. That's the goal. 100 points into Roman Reigns on the 10 point games, and we shall go from there. But I'm not going to take these picks, guys, because I'm going to save it up and pick off the WrestleMania board again from the exhibition game. So I thank you all for coming and watching, and yeah, so bye. Peace on the streets.